Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where I'll lead you step by step through the ABRSM Theory grades. We're really cracking on through ABRSM Grade 2 Music Theory and Practice Workbook, so if you want to grab your workbook, we're going to continue working through that together. There are loads of resources available to help you on my website. If you go to sharonbill.com, you will find some free PDF information sheets like this. They're available in US letter or A4 and they'll accompany each step of this series. All the information that we'll be needing to know you'll find in this document. There's also a page with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can access information about the books that I have available. If you go to sharonbill.com, it's all there. If it is that you're working towards your music theory exam and you're going to be sitting the exam, I've written a book, How to Take Your ABRSM Music Theory exam, and it's full of hints and tips and techniques on how to best make use of the preparation as you work up to taking the exam, and then also how to best make use of the time as you sit the exam as well. So it's all there on my website. If you can give me a like, that'd be fab, that'd be encouraging to me, and if you can subscribe to keep updated, there's loads more in store. Let's get cracking. So we're continuing with section F as I refer to it. So if you turn to your PDF document, here we go, and find section F. And then also if you turn in your work booklet, we're going to be continuing with page 21 in a moment, but just refer back to pages 18 and 19 for the moment, just to have a little bit of a recap. Because of all the new time signatures that we've got to consider, there are new rules regarding grouping notes and rests, and that's what we're just going to have a little bit of revision on. In essence, if there's a mixture of quavers and semiquavers, or eighth notes and 16th notes, you always group those in groups of one beat. If it's only quavers or eighth notes, we can group them in groups of 2 beat in certain cases. However, when there's 4 beats in a bar, we have to be very careful not to cross over the halfway point in the bar. We can't beam over that there. There's a nice exception to the rule in 3/8 where basically we can just beam anything together. So in 3/8, any combination of quavers and semiquavers or eighth notes and 16th notes can all be joined together. So that's also a little rule to think about. The same sort of principle applies with rests. Remember that a full bar's rest, regardless of the time signature, is always a semi-breve or a whole note rest. So although technically it's too big for the bar, as it were, we would still use that as a quick shorthand way of just a complete bar. And so the same rules for beaming really apply for rests. However, you've always got to be careful to sort of tidy up each full beat before you move on to the next. So for example, here we've got half a beat. We need to just complete the half a beat. There's now one full beat, and then we can move on to the next beat. And every new beat will always need a new rest. So you wouldn't put a 2 beat rest, you have 2 single beat rests to show exactly where the beats fall. And we're always thinking of tidying up that beat before we move on to the next one, so that we don't have sort of a syncopated effect. It looks off beat there. You need to complete the quarter of a beat and then quarter of a beat which belongs to this note. You don't have it sort of splitting over. You're always tidying up the loose ends and completing the beat. As I mentioned before, it's probably easier to just learn this as you go, learn by your mistakes. And so we're now going to carry on into page 21. I've already looked at page 20 and the first exercise of page 21. And so after digesting that, and if you found that a bit tricky, go over that video again by all means. And we're just going to carry on now looking at page 21, and we're on exercise F. And so I'll perhaps just do this one to remind you of the things we discussed, and then you can have a go at the rest of the page yourself. So we'll just get our bars set out. When there's so many notes here, I always find it easy to keep the bars aligned so you don't just lose track of where you are. So we're just copying for the moment. Let's just get all the essentials in place. There's our key signature. It's not one we've covered yet, but we'll just copy that over. Okie dokie. So this is common time, which means 4/4. We talked about this in grade 1, section B. All the information from grade 1 always carries forward. These grades are accumulative. We always still need to keep in mind the previous grade's information. Okay, so there we have a 2-beat note. That won't change. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 quaver beats, and this will apply. If I just turn back to this rule here, so if we just look back on page 18, we can group these together. The only time we can't is if it crosses over the halfway point in a bar. It's just a way of making sure we don't get lost, and we can easily see where the halfway point is. Somebody's got to play this ultimately. But you see, there's the halfway point, and so we're okay, we're not going to beam over that. So all of these can go together. Now this does create a little bit of a problem in terms of beaming, because this one can go either way. This one should come down, however these two would need to go up. Now although this one could go either way, really, because these two are 5 and 4 steps away, whereas this one's only next door, these two kind of need it most, and so the stems will have to go up because they kind of win the vote. Oh, got a bit carried away there. Let's just tidy that up. So that would go together. Okay, now we discussed in grade 1 how, if at all possible, it's best to avoid a tie. We've got a half tied to a full beat, and so really that's better written as a dotted crotchet. It's still the same time value, so we've in effect got rid of the need for that extra note with the tie, and we've just added a dot. Now this gives us 1.5 beats, so we need to just tidy up this extra half a beat before we can carry on. So this quaver or 8th note here, this half beat here, isn't going to be joined to anything, because really it belongs to just finishing off that beat. There's beat 1, and then with the dot and that 8th note or quaver, that's beat 2, and then that leaves us with 1, 2, 3, 4, and so we can do this scenario again. If you'd have joined this 1, 2, 3, 4 and then had this odd one left over, that wouldn't be correct, because then we'd sort of be beaming off the beat. We need to be showing exactly where each new beat falls, and so the odd one on its own is here because really it belongs to finishing this beat here. So we've got exactly the same notes. We've got a B, C, E, F, and so the stem's going to have to go up just like it did last time, because these lower notes require that. A bit better. It's trouble when you use a ruler, isn't it? You lose track of where you're going. And then we've got the same scenario again here. We've got a half tied to a 1, and that's much easier to read like this. So at the present we've got 1.5 beats. We need to finish the remainder half of a beat here. In this case it was written with 1/2 beat, however here it's now going to be these 2 semiquavers, or these 2 16th notes, which together make a half, will finish this beat. So we need to beam those two together to complete this unit of a beat here. Now again, we're going to have to decide. The middle line is the deciding line. We've got 1 below, 1 above, and so we can just choose either way. It's sort of a 50-50 split. I'm going to go up just because, I don't know, just feel like. they have all gone up, so this one will. However, this next set, you can see they're obviously going to have to come down. So we've got a half, quarter, quarter. All of those together will make one beat, so we'll beam those together. There's a half, quarter, quarter. If you want to use a ruler for all the stems, by all means do so. So half, quarter, quarter, and then again we've got half, quarter, quarter of a beat. All together makes one beat, and so they'll be beamed together. So this one can go either way. This one needs to come down, this one needs to go up, and so we get a choice. And so I'll just continue that going down. It could go either way. So you could choose to put the stems going up. There we go. Last bar, so we've got half, quarter, quarter all together. They make one. Now that's beginning and ending in the same place, so I'll just keep that straight line to show we've sort of come back to where we started. Half, quarter, quarter. So now half, quarter, quarter, they belong together. And this time the stems have got to go up because they're all below that middle line. And then our final dotted crochet, dotted quarter note, just about fit that in there. There we go, very good. So if you want to have a look at this next few exercises in your own time, just press pause and have a go at these, and then you can re-access into the video. You can either try them one at a time and come back to me, or you can just try all of them and we'll see how we go. It might be better to just try one or two at a time, just to learn by your mistakes as you go along. However, before you do, I'm just going to say to you here, this one here is particularly sneaky, I think. And I will just say to you that sometimes it's necessary to use a tie. There's a hot tip. There's your clue. Okie dokie. So I'll leave you to have a go at that and then come back to me. We'll work through that together. Do try it on your own though. Don't be worried if you make a mistake. It's okay. We can always erase it and try again. So I think it's perhaps a good point to stop here. I do hope that this has been helpful to you. Please give me a like and subscribe to keep updated. We're getting really stuck into this and I'm so enjoying working through this with you. Please do go to sharonbill.com. There's lots of resource available to help you there. Do look into that and make use of everything that I've made available to you. Give me a like and a subscribe. That'd be fab, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.